Hello and welcome to Season 2 of the Fresh Finds Podcast, the show about discovering new music with good people. I'm Ryan, and joining me this episode is guitarist, singer, songwriter, and live sound engineer Andrew Summers. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I am just dandy. It's good to have you on the show. We've known each other for quite a while, and you actually dropped some original music a few months ago in the middle of the summer, if I'm not mistaken, right?
That I did, yes.
All right, so do you want to tell everybody a little bit about you and a little bit about the project and all that?
Sure. Well, so let's talk about Tuck. How did Tuck get started? Well, maybe you, Ryan, you probably know. Because of my job and the industry that I work in, nicknames are kind of a big thing. So after my coworkers found out that I played a certain part in a certain show where I had to cross-dress, they gave me the nickname Tuck, T-U-C-K. Probably
Classic.
Figure out why, right? Classic. And I don't know, the name just kind of always stuck. And when it got to the point where I was making this album and I was trying to come up with a band name, it's like, okay, I kind of wanted to keep it funny, keep it light, keep it something that everybody kind of knows about already. So it's like, okay, well, why don't I just use Tuck? Well, Tuck's already taken, T-U-C-K. So I had to do some little twisting and turning, which I ended up with T-U-K, Tuck. So that's how I got the name. How the album itself got started, trying to really skim the surface here. I could talk, I swear, for hours about this whole thing. I was in Minneapolis at the time with a band I was in called Ozone Baby. Some of you might know about that. And if you don't, you're going to hear one of their songs.
You're going to whether you
today.
want to or not.
Whether you want to or not. It's definitely one of my favorite songs. But we were out there in Minneapolis trying to make a go of it. And I ran into some personal things. Things weren't working out with me and the band, me and my job at the time. And then this awesome thing called the pandemic started.
Oh, yeah.
And
Fun
I couldn't.
times.
Still are fun times.
Yeah.
They never ended. But it got to the point where I was realizing I can't really afford to stay out there. It wasn't really that great for my mental health. So for the last month or so that I lived out in Minneapolis, I was working 4-day weeks. And what I found was on my 3-day weekends, I would just lock myself in the little studio that we made that was conveniently attached to my room, and I would just write and record. So during the evening hours, I was sitting at this, at my little workstation, creating all the instrumentals. And then by day, as I was delivering beer to the couple of places that were still open, because we're essential, right?
Beer is definitely
lyrics
essential.
in the truck.
I can tell you that for sure.
I thought so. Definitely am. So I figured, I was actually just thinking about this a couple days ago, trying to prepare for this.
Okay.
I had the entire album, all the instrumentals made and done in a span of a month and a half. From when I started in Minneapolis, when I moved back, they were done. So then I spent the next year or so just writing lyrics and recording vocals, because that's my kryptonite. I hate it.
Yeah, me too.
It. But yeah, it was super fun. It's a very personal, very vulnerable album. I talk about a lot about what was going on in my brain, my heart at the time, and just some really, what I think is some pretty dense stuff, but presented in a way that's easily digestible.
Mm-hmm.
So then it finally got to the point, a year after I had moved back to Green Bay, the album's done, it's polished, and I have to release this thing. So I did. Had a big release party thing, had some people at work listen to it. It was received really well. And that's about when I got together, I think it was maybe even before that. It's probably before that listening party. I got together with Michael Chop, who you know,
Chopper,
and Alan Harrison.
Two people
himself.
who've both been on the podcast before. People might know
Hell
about them.
Yeah. Yeah. And we got together, the three of us, and we're like, hey, this is good stuff. Let's jam on it. So we did, and pretty soon we all knew the songs to the album, and then we just recently, in the grand scheme of things, acquired our bass player. My good friend, old time friend from high school, His name's Alaric, and he moved back to the area not that long ago. So we got him. We got a 4-piece band. We've played some shows. People really seem to gravitate towards it. We've played a real show. We played a virtual show. Trying to plan some more stuff amongst now another wave of something. But yeah, we're going strong. I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. This was never supposed to get this big. I thought this was just going to be like another passion project album. But people really seem to like it, and they want to keep hearing it, and they want to keep hearing more Tuck stuff. So even at my workstation now, I have a couple songs that we're working on. So Sweet. This is it's an ever-going project, man. I'm stoked.
Yeah, that's super cool. And it's really cool that you wrote this just for yourself and that it just happened to get received really well.
Yeah. It's rewarding. It's what the big word I'm looking for. Yeah. It's cool to know, like, as an artist, of course, you always want to put your best work forward, and you get into this mentality of, well, I don't really care what other people think. This is my art, right?
Yeah.
Well, those are the people that don't really last long in the industry, because to some degree, I don't like saying this, but it's like to some degree you kind of have to sell out, because if nobody else likes your stuff,
then you're not going to make any money.
Right. And I guess that's
survive.
kind of the right. And that's kind of the cool thing about Tuck. It's like, we're not doing this to make money. We're not doing this to get big or whatever, go on tour. Like, we're all kind of past that part. So it's like, to have fun, more than likely just play in front of our friends and family, and that's the shit.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Hell yeah.
All right, sweet. So you want to get into our songs that we're going to share?
Hell yeah.
All right. Yeah. So this first one is a DIY punk band that's from Boston. And I actually found them because I follow a bunch of sort of East Coast DIY bands on Twitter, and they were all kind of talking about, and then this band was just like commenting on like all of their shit. And so I was just constantly seeing this name on my feed, and they didn't have any music out yet, but this was their first single, and like the day that it released, I listened to it because I was like, I've been seeing this name for forever. I need to know what these guys sound like. And so this was the first single off of their record that they dropped in September of this year, and this song is called Champagne.
All right.